You know, when you were a kid growing up in the mid-70s in Northern New Brunswick, there were three things you knew. Your local drive-in would get a cleanest wood movie. Your local Tasty Freeze would bring in Scotsburn or very good ice cream. And you could watch a game with the Buffalo Sabres on a Saturday night against the Canucks, the Habs, or Toronto, and the French Connection would just dominate so much you wish that Buffalo was in Hamilton or a Canadian team. At the time, Buffalo was just as popular as the Toronto Maple Leafs, as Montreal, as Vancouver, amongst not only Francophone fans in Canada, Acadians and Canadians that liked high-end fire wagon hockey. Now, with the death of Rene Robert, a big loss, did a podcast on Rene a few months ago. Did one on Richard Martin and Gilbert Perreault as well. But today we're specifically talking about the line that they played on. Now, is this the greatest NHL line of all time? Pretty close. I mean, the ones in Edmonton with Gretzky, the ones in Montreal with Lafleur, Schott, and Lemaire. But for me, from a cultural aspect, this is probably number one in my books, and I'll tell you why. No matter what he did, it doesn't matter if you're 2 or 92, English or French, American or Canadian. If you lived in Europe, you know what the French Connection was. Anyway, a little bit of background. This was the nickname of a forward line, again, that played for the Sabres in the NHL from 1972 until 79. It had Hall of Famer Gilbert Perreault at center, All-Stars Richard Martin, or you Americans call him Rick Martin, and Rene Robert at left wing and right wing, respectively. Now, they're all like Quebecois from the province of Quebec. Perreault was from the beautiful community of Victoriaville. Robert was from Trois-Rivières, and Martin was from beautiful community as well, Verdun. The name referred both to the origins of the players and to the 1971 movie The French Connection, based upon the book of the same name. The name was eventually registered as a trademark by Rene Robert with the approval of his line mates. And as probably a lot of heard, Rene took a heart attack about 10 days ago and passed away from post-coronary attack there. Now, Perreault and Martin were the first round draft picks consecutively of the Sabres in the first 2 years, while Robert, in one of the biggest trades in Buffalo history, was acquired in a deal late in the Sabres' second season from Pittsburgh. The trio accounted for most of Buffalo's scoring during their 7 years together. They made one Stanley Cup final, made it to the quarterfinals against Montreal in kind of their unveiling. Over that span, get this, ladies and gentlemen, 1,681 points over 1,536 combined man games played from 72 to 79. Again, that 1975 appearance knocked off Montreal in 6 games in the semis. Played the Flyers, should have won it, but bad goaltending or inconsistent goaltending from Desjardins and Crozier allowed Buffalo to lose in 6. Now, they continue to hold many of the franchise's scoring records. Each member of the French Connection was named to the official NHL All-Star team at least once and to the NHL All-Star game at least twice while playing together. Now, Perreault was acquired by the team with their first draft pick of their inaugural season in 1970. Martin followed the next year as the team's first pick in 71. Apologize to our American listeners. We'll go with the French pronunciation. He's not Martin, it's Martin. Now, both players were drafted after 3 seasons with the Montreal Junior Canadiens, Montreal's affiliated junior franchise, for a number of years. Now, Robert was required to trade on March 4th, 72, for all people, Eddie Shack. He played 12 games for the Sabres during the 72 season. Now, Perreault played his entire 17-season career with the Sabres. Martin played all but 4 games of his injury-short 11-season career with the Sabres. And Richard passed away about a decade ago from late life medical conditions. Now, they played together as a line most of the time until the fall of 79. On October 5th, 79, Bowman traded Robert to the Colorado Rockies for John Van Boxmeer. This ended the French Connection era in Buffalo, and it was kind of ironic because Scotty Bowman was their biggest rival for a number of years in the 70s. Now, it ended the era in Buffalo, but not before the trio became the first 3 players to accumulate 200 goals in a Sabres uniform. Each 3 had their jerseys retired. Number 11 was retired during a ceremony on October 17th 15th, 1990, while Robert's number 14 and Martin's number 7 were retired on November 15th, 95. All three numbers hang together from the K-Bank Center rafters under a French Connection banner. Now, in hopes of averting the lean years that trouble most expansion teams, George Punch Imlach, the Sabres' first coach and GM, attempted to build a high-scoring club to excite the local hockey fans, and almost made the playoffs first year, of course. Perreault was regarded as a smooth skater and tremendous stick handler. Perreault was chosen to be the franchise player around which a team could be built. Now, as the years went on, we knew something special was going to happen. Now, when Martin was drafted, they had played 2 years together with the Montreal Juniors, and Perreault even lived with Richard's family during the 1970 season. But he never played on the same line before being paired up in Buffalo. Since Martin was one of the few who could keep up with Perreault as a skater, they were paired together after the Sabres drafted him. It was very clear during the 72 season that Perreault and Martin were a natural pairing. Sabres coach Joe Crozier felt the two just needed a third player who would stay high and check. Now, the Sabres coach quickly teamed Robert with Perreault and Martin after the trade. The two players complemented each other as Martin became a dynamic combination to dazzle fans. Now, I don't know who dubbed him the French Connection. Buffalo fans could back it up here. But some people say Lee Coppola, writer, did it as a reference to the Academy Award-winning film and their heritage via the Buffalo Odd message board. The pair played together as a regular line through 75. At times they were split up during the last 4 seasons. But when they played together, they often faced the opposition's top defensive lineups. Since the trio were tremendous skating scoring threats, these opponents would concentrate on checking them and staying on top of them. For example, against the Habs, Bob Gainey's line would oppose them. Richard Martin once said that at his time, I had Jimmy Roberts between me and my shadow. Now, Perreault is considered the glory of the trio because he was a naturally gifted skater and playmaker. Played for Team Canada 72, did very well against the Russians, decided to come home early, but that was he's kind of unveiling on the international scene. Now, Perreault is a very modest guy, and a lot of people felt he was hampered by his own shy personality. Now, his stick handling and head faking confounded even the best defensive players in the world. Most notably, if you watch the '81 Canada Cup, when he put them on the line with Gretzky and Lafleur, boys, oh boys, that could have been the greatest line of all time, but we're talking consistent. Now, Martin was considered a marksman of the Steve shot of the tree, who was dangerous with the wrist shot and slap shot. Now, Robert was known for his blinding speed and lethal shot. He's made his mark the French Connection as one of the league's most highly regarded power play point men and on a second-line penalty-killing unit. He was perhaps the least flashy of the three, but the most complete, and I tell you why. He would do 20 to 25 minutes a game, and his plus-minus would be a few points higher every season because there would be a lot of shorthanded goals when he was on the defensive or the 5-on-5. And I think he must have played him a few times. I'm trying to gather if it was Brian Spencer or Atkinson or it was some of the one of the key players he had picked up. Now, according to many fans of Buffalo, he was a player who checked and worked hard in the corners. Now, Perreault has numerous club career records, everything from games played, assists, points, 30-goal seasons, 20-goal seasons, shots on goal. Now, but Martin holds a franchise record for hat-tricks, 4-goal games, 40-goal seasons, consecutive 40-goal seasons, 50-goal seasons, tied with Danny Gare, and consecutive 50-goal seasons. Now, although Robert's name is on his probably record books, he's 100-point season in 75, marked the first time a Sabre ever hit that number. Now, during the 7 full season trio was together, Perreault led the Sabres in scoring 5 times, and Robert and Martin led the team once each. Now, Martin's big year, of course, was 76 with 7 hat-tricks, and he continues to be tied with Alexander McGillivray for the franchise single-season record. Now, Martin and Perreault are the first and second for rookie points and goals in franchise history, record set before the arrival of Robert. Now, every time in the season they were together, they made the playoffs, except for 74, when Perreault suffered a broken leg and only played 55 games. Now, the impact of the combination was obvious as the team began the first full season of French Connection era with a 10-game unbeaten streak. The team made the playoffs for the first time in the history of the franchise, and the three members of the French Connection were the team's three leading scorers. Now, the big thing as well, they went undefeated in their first 21 home games while setting a record for post-67 expansion teams by recording a home winning streak of 12 and going unbeaten in New York State for 25 games, including a victory against the Islanders and 3 more against the Rangers. Now, this first playoff appearance, again, tremendous, was not only the franchise's first one, but the series also marked history as the only NHL playoff series with brothers, Ken from Montreal and Dave from Buffalo, as opposing goalies. In the first games of the series, both goaltenders were chosen as among the 3 stars of the game. Now, during the 75 season, the revenge year against Montreal, all members of the trio were selected to play in the All-Star game, and they all finished among the top 10 in league scoring, and they led the team to a tie for first place in the regular season standings. Now, Game 3 of the 75 series was the big highlight, known as the Fog Game. Rick Martin allowed the tie game goal by Bill Height to be scored, and it has to be seen but believed. The Flyers were at the peak of their powers at the time, ladies and gentlemen, and they were lucky that Buffalo didn't get that momentum. But the big problem is Buffalo was quite tired for the Montreal series, in my opinion, and he didn't have the energy to keep up with what they call the grinding of the Flyers. Now, the trio is considered 3 of the most popular athletes in Buffalo history, as well as surrounding Western New York, and their international popularity and cultural prominence will never be taken away. Although they never won a Stanley Cup, they are probably the most important players not to win a cup that should receive recognition. Martin, of course, was the 77 MVP of the All-Star game, and Perreault scored a game-winning goal in the 78 contest in Buffalo. Now, have to see the highlight of that goal, tremendous. Perreault was in 9 All-Star games, Martin was in 7 straight, and Robert was in 2. Now, Martin was also official NHL All-Star first team left wing in 74 and 75, and second team left wing 76 and 77. Perreault was selected as an All-Star second team center in 76 and 77, and Robert was a second team right wing in 75. Now, Perreault also won the Calder in 71 as Rookie of the Year, and Lady Byng for Germany played in 73, and all honors for all players were as Buffalo Sabres. Now, all their All-Star selections were earned while the 3 were teammates, and Perreault was eventually inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1990. The line also made occasional appearances at Sabres alumni games until Martin unfortunately passed away in March 2011. The last appearance together was to introduce Terrence Pugla as the Sabres new owner on February 24, 2011, and statues of the 3 players are located outside the Sabres arena. Now, just to put this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, Rene stats 73 40 goals, 74 21 goals, 75 40 goals, 76 35 goals, 77 33 goals, 78 6 25 goals, and 79 22 goals. And that big season, of course, 40 60 175. Richard Martin, 37 52 52 49, 36 28 32 goals. And the best season, in my opinion, was 75 with 95 points. Perreault's numbers, again, 75 is best season for me anyway, but 76 statistically a little bit better. Goals scored 28, 18, 39, 44, 39, 40, 41, 27. Best campaign, 76 points-wise, 113. Now, what's kind of bizarre with this, ladies and gentlemen, they weren't scared to take a penalty except for Perreault. Perreault was gentlemanly. But Rene, sometimes he would lose his cool, so would Richard. So there was majors every once in a while. Now, playoff statistics are tremendous. Rene had a point-a-game pace in 75. Richard had 20 points in 17 games. Perreault had 15 in 17 games. The opening campaign in those 6 games, now this is statistics you want to see, against the Montreal Canadiens in those 6 games. How many points do you think they got combined? 23, ladies and gentlemen. They had 11 goals, 12 assists for 23 points against the Montreal Canadiens. So without them, they wouldn't have been strong. Now, like I said before, is the French Connection the greatest line of all time? Well, you might as well say the big Russian line, anything Gretzky and Curry, whatever. But like I said, Gretzky didn't play in the 80s, and there was a whole region behind him. See, Gretzky wasn't a national hero in Canada. Gilbert Perreault, Rene Robert, Richard Martin were national heroes in Quebec and in Canada, because everybody would say we needed a line like that to go up against the Flyers, to show that skill and determination and strength and hard work could take away the goons. At no point in time are the Buffalo Sabres ever considered a goon team. And if anything, they are almost a clone of the Montreal Canadiens. You look at Luce and Ramsey. If they would have had a good goalie, if they would have drafted a number one, let's say they would have traded, I don't know, they had later with Don Edwards, but if they had a true number one, they could have won every cup that the Montreal Canadiens won from 73 to about 78. They were that good. And the biggest question was it bad coaching? Was it just bad luck? Was it a tough schedule? But you put Danny Gare in the mix, and you put Craig Ramsey and Korab and Bill Haidt and all these great talents on the team. And Brian Spencer was there for a while. Brian would work hard and hard and hard and hard. But Rene's passing, as you get older, you say the hardest part of getting older is losing your friends. And Rene Robert was a friend to hockey. Richard Martin was a friend to hockey. And Gilbert Perreault definitely was a friend to hockey. I have never heard one person in the media, my colleagues or my family and my friends, ever say something bad about Perreault and Richard Martin and Rene Robert. There's a terminology in military thing where the military is so strong that people, as soon as they see them, they're backing up to go to a defensive position. When these guys were rolling, ladies and gentlemen, I think it was a game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it was before Gretzky. I'm taking 77, and they were just rocking. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our podcast channel, give us a like, comment, or subscribe, and don't forget, say a prayer for Rene Robert, say a prayer for Richard Martin, and also say a prayer for Gilbert Perreault, losing his friends like that. But just remember, the French Connection meant so much to so many, and we salute them today. Have a good day. Bye.